Oh yeah,
You know what I mean? So
I interviewed.
There's a lot of things behind it, man. That you got.
I specifically interviewed DOC, and we talked about that whole situation with his throat, and he told me flat out on camera that after he got hurt, he was itching to get back on tour in the studio because everyone else was blowing up around him, and he went to the doctor and said, "Hey, can you take the scar tissue out of my throat?" And he said, "Absolutely not. It needs to heal up for another couple of years." So he said, okay. He kept going to other doctors until he finally found a doctor that would do it. And the process of them trying to take out the scar tissue ended up damaging his throat even worse.
So explain what happened in the hospital with your voice.
When you have an accident as critical as mine was, that I would imagine that the immediate response is, let's try to save this person's life.
Yeah.
We're going to sedate him or her. We're going to trach them and do what we do.
Trach
right?
is a tube in your throat?
Right.
Yeah.
And so, but I was on Lord knows what, and they didn't want to risk, so when they wanted to trach, I was fighting. That I can actually remember. It was a real struggle. And when they were shoving it down, they just dislodged one of the cords, which I found out later in life is actually a pretty common thing. You know what I mean? And if I'd have just left it alone, maybe a year or so later, it might have come back,
What happened though?
Shortly after that, they wanted me to continue to perform the record, right? But I couldn't talk at all, Yeah. So I thought the doctor said if you get the scar tissue removed, then it'll help expedite the healing process. Maybe I can get something back faster. I didn't want to go lip sync the records, because back then in hip hop, realism meant everything.
Everything.
So I just didn't have the wherewithal to pull it off mentally. So I went and had the operation, and I found this out many years later, that the doctor that removed that scar tissue removed too much, and so it was never even possible for it to ever heal. Wow. like it once was.
So you can't put that on a Jerry Heller or whatever else. DOC made his own decisions, and he had to live with his own decisions.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying?
Facts.
Like this was not pushed by any, the Jerry Heller's name did not come up as someone who pushed me to do this and ended up messing up my life so you can make a few dollars. Like,
right.
Yeah. And let me just say this. You look at Dre and you say, oh, he's the greatest hip hop producer of all time, one of the greatest music people of all time. He was going to blow up regardless. When you look at the music industry, talent does not get you where you need to go.
It does
all the time.
It does.
You look at, for example, a guy like Kevin McCall, who we interviewed. He had a hit song with Chris Brown. He had a baby with Eva Marcel. Everything was lined up for him to be a superstar. He was super talented, and he's in jail right now and fucked up, and just constantly he got shot not too long ago, and just a bunch of bad shit happened to him. Just because his mind was not right. He had anger issues. He probably has some mental issues, whatever else. There is a reasonable chance that Dr. Dre could be working at a grocery store right now because the music shit did not come together, because Eazy and Jerry Heller did not put him in a position to actually elevate his music, because the World Class Wrecking Crew shit was not going to go very far. It already had run its course. I don't care how talented that person is today. If they are not put in a position to actually execute that talent, they could have dropped by the wayside and never gotten up to bring that to the world.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. I could have.
Same thing with Ice Cube. Same thing with Ren. Same thing with Eazy. Eazy could have just gone back to selling drugs again, because Boys in the Hood never came out.
Allegedly selling drugs again.
There's no allegedly about it.
It's very allegedly.
You're saying Eazy-E never sold drugs?
Jerry Heller said Eazy-E never sold drugs.
Oh, in the book?
Yeah. Yes, he said he came from good parents, and you know, he just that persona stuck with him. You know, because you know he came around, he made money. He said he kept a bunch of weed. He said Eazy always had a bunch of weed. He said as far as drugs, he never saw Eazy make a drug transaction in his life.
Okay.
Not saying he didn't. Not saying
Jerry
he
was
didn't.
exactly on the block.
No, I'm saying not saying that he didn't, but the money had to come from somewhere.
Right.
Who knows where it was coming from? That's why I'm saying allegedly. You can't get nobody to come say, "Yeah, I used to buy keys from Eazy."
Well, when I had Keefe D on, he grew up around Eazy and said that Eazy was a dealer. He just wasn't a major dealer.
He wouldn't know. He's from Compton.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's his age bracket.
He never. But Eazy-E's younger than him.
Yeah.
But
No, I said that's his age bracket.
his age bracket. Yeah. Roughly.
Yeah.
But yeah, he said he was absolutely a drug dealer. He just wasn't a major drug dealer like he ended up being. Didn't say anything bad about it. He said he loved Eazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in fact, he said
God,
that
if you're from Compton, you better love Eazy.
right, right. In fact, I mean, he was saying in the interview about how he doesn't believe some of the Suge Knight stories about him trying to bully Eazy-E because he said Eazy had all the Crips in Compton behind him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like they really worshiped this guy. I mean, he was really the leader of Compton, if you really think about it. The hero, not the leader, but the hero, of Compton. He was the hero. He was the one.
No, he was perfect. Perfect word. He was the hero of Compton.
He was the one. Let me just say this, and I don't think this could be disputed. Eazy-E put Compton on the map.
Period.
With a T on the end.
Yeah. No doubt.
Period.
No doubt.
Because let me tell you, as someone who's living in the Bay at the time,
let me tell you,
I had never heard of
the
Compton.
West Coast on the Eazy-E pretty much literally put the West Coast on the hip hop map.
Right. Because I remember in the beginning of Eazy Does It, they had the kind of like the winos kind of talking amongst each other. He goes, "Hey, he comes from Compton, Michigan." I really thought Compton was in Michigan.
Right.
You know, they're playing around.
Right.
What did I know though? I lived in, I was living in San Mateo.
I
knew about Oakland. I knew about Berkeley. I knew about San Francisco. I didn't know about Compton.
Right.
That was not a major city. That's a suburb of Los Angeles.
It is.
He put Compton on the hip hop map. No one was mentioning Compton, even in the NWA movie. Remember when they had the
before then in the underground tapes, you had Toddy T, you had Mixmaster Spade, what the LA sound. No, I'm talking about
that
the LA
never
sound.
made it outside of LA.
It didn't.
No offense to these guys,
It did.
legends in hip hop. I know who they are.
Yeah,
that never made it outside of LA.
It did.
The Bay did not know about Toddy T. Arizona had no idea who Toddy T was. Texas, New York, it was Eazy-E.
Right.
It was easy, and all the respect to these guys. I know they're going to watch this and get all upset. I'm not disrespecting you guys.
No, they're not.
We all know that Eazy-E was the one that came in and blew it all up.
Yeah, he did.
Ice-T did a pretty good job before him, but not to the extent.
No doubt.
But not to the extent of Eazy-E.
But
not to the extent of Eazy-E.
No.
Because I used to listen to Egyptian Lover and like
I did
Uncle
too.
Jam's Party, Uncle Jam's Army, all that type of stuff. But Eazy was the one that just elevated it all.
Yeah. Eazy kind of like stamped gangster rap.
100%.
He did.
100%.
Yeah, no doubt.
100% to this day.
No doubt. Now, if you ask Soren Baker, who's also one of my partners, he'd probably say it was Schoolie D.
If you just look at the success level of a Schoolie D versus an Eazy-E, it's not even in the same hemisphere.
Say that to you.
It's not even this. And Schoolie D, yes, had a dope song, and Biggie redid it and everything else like that. It was definitely something that was dope at the time, but you cannot compare a Schoolie D to an Eazy-E.
Not at all.
Just look at and
but I think I'm speaking from an origination aspect.
I guess.
You know what I mean?
I guess.
But he didn't have nowhere near the impact to make it go as large as Eazy did.
The Eazy legacy is still alive to this day.
Heavy.
The family tree is still going.
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar, who arguably is the biggest rapper today.
Mm-hmm.
When you talk about who is the, like let's put it like this. You take all the top rappers.
Mm-hmm.
You take Kendrick, Drake, J. Cole, Jay-Z, you know, whoever else, you know, was popping at the time. You know, whatever. You can take Juice WRLD, you can take a bunch of guys and have them all drop an album on the same day. And I bet you most people listen to the Kendrick album first and then go back and listen to everyone else's.
Right.
And that's part of the Eazy family tree.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, came through Dre, you know what I mean? It's all connected to what Eazy originally started.
Right.
You take him out of the equation and all that could have just never happened.
Facts. Solid facts.
Yep.